One of the main reasons you're not securing deals is predominantly because you're wasting your time on the deals that don't actually cater to your skill sets best. So our competitive advantage is acquisition and design. You may have some other areas that you have a strong skill set in and others that you're weaker, but you have to analyze what yours are. So have a think to yourself, what are my areas where I'm really good? If funding is your competitive advantage, you could potentially buy buildings that need a lot less work or a lot lumpier, longer delivery projects better than we could. Dialing down your competitive advantage so that you can buy more sites. And this has become more and more prevalent as I'm training our new acquisitions guy, Stephen. Well, he's new to us, but he's experienced in the field about what our competitive advantage is. He may already come with a lot of accumulated value in understanding projects, but one of the main reasons you're not securing deals, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I haven't got a good pipeline, I can't find the projects, is predominantly because you're wasting your time on the deals that don't actually cater to your skill sets the best. Now, what I mean by that is XP Property, we have surveying in-house, but there's a fairly low margin that we can actually control in that space. Ben's background means his technical design is really, really strong. I'm solely focusing on acquisition, so we have a lot of time and effort without blowing my own trumpet, a little bit of skill there as well that I've been building up and learning. So our competitive advantage is acquisition and design. Beyond that, so I've got some other examples on the screen and I'll talk through the podcast listeners what they are, is construction. We don't have it in-house. We fix price with a main contractor. You may have an agreement to lease, to whether that be an affordable housing provider or alternatively a covenant that you can fill with, with a doggy daycare or whatever it may be. That covenant and lease and relationship, and that's actually how we started our social housing portfolio, could be a competitive advantage. Funding, you might have cheap lines of funding. We've met some people in the market that just have a revolving credit facility at 5%. We can't bid as much on sites as they can because their competitive advantage is funding. And last but not least, sales. Typically people from an agency background or an interior design background going into property development do well on sales. So you may have some other areas that you have a strong skill set in and others that you're weaker, but you have to analyze what yours are. So have a think to yourself, what are my areas where I'm really good, where I'm at my best, where I'm looking at the plethora of acquisitions, design, structure, funding, planning, construction, and then sales.
If you aren't using Xero as a financial management account software, there is a link down in the description to give you 50% off for 3 months, or you can type in the bit.ly link on the screen now.
And then once you understand your competitive advantage, you can then kind of tailor spending more time on the better deals that are easier to create margin. So because we have fixed construction costs and we're typically good in acquisitions and design, permitted development schemes work really well for us because we don't have to forego all the costs to get out the ground and build the substructure. Therefore, we've already got that advantage that if we're buying a commercial conversion, over 50% of the work, maybe even more, maybe even 70% of the work getting it watertight is done and it's a fit out. So that's negating one of our least competitive areas, which is construction. Obviously, there's some design now that then goes into the floor plans and how we play around with that. Me, given the time and the skill that I have to find these buildings and negotiate them, is then warranted by that. And that's an example of how we cater for what our skill set is. If you are a contract developer with a construction team, you might be able to buy a fully consented site that doesn't need any design plan changes, which is what the opposite of what we're looking for, because you can build it out significantly cheaper. And equally, if funding is your competitive advantage, you could potentially buy buildings that need a lot less work or a lot lumpier, longer delivery projects better than we could, because we would be accruing a higher cost to take on an asset where there's limited value to add. So an exercise for anyone struggling to acquire properties and create value in the deal using your strengths. Think, what are my strengths? How can I then replicate that in the acquisition space? It kills me to think that if you had, for example, let's just assume an architect that was just trying to buy sites that were already consented, where is the value creation there if there's no value to be added? Or equally, if you've got someone that's really well backed, looking for the best margin possible through planning and construction, when actually getting the money out the door and getting a return on it might be a better route to cause. Equally, if you're buying a social housing portfolio or doing social housing, maybe a sales acumen for private sales is lost there. So you're not really going to be adding your markup on that scheme. So think about where your markup is added. Make sure the schemes that you're looking at, really do drive those values into the project to give you the best chance to get to the best price to ensure that you secure that deal.
If you got value from this video, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell, because we release one video at least every week, so you'll be the first to get notified. See you on the next one.